Hello, good evening, people. Hope all of you are doing well, safe, and healthy, and wearing your masks. Hello. Oh, bright side, hello. So let's wait for few people to join in and then we shall begin. Hi, Durgesh. Hello. Karishma Mehra Sangi. Hello. Okay, so before we begin, let me begin with introducing myself. Well, my name is Jeel Mehta. I'm a journalist, a content writer, an aspiring singer and chef, a content creator. So, today's guest we have is a quite unique one in his profession, and he's been doing this thankless jobs for years. So, he has been recently featured by the Better India, and it's a prestigious moment. So, he is one of the first canine nutritionists and dog chef. Starting his own venture in dog food, he is one of the leading brands in dog cakes, treats, and homemade food. So let's get on board Ishmeet, who is going to talk more about dogs and his nutrition, and also about his profession, which is so unique for today's people. So let's get Ishmeet on the board. Will be joining us just in a minute. Let's wait. Ishmeet, are you there?
Hi, I was trying to connect with you on the other one.
Yeah,
There were 10 people who
finally.
joined. Yeah, there
Yeah.
were 10 people who joined over there. Can I just join? How do I invite them in again here? Because I went
Sure,
live.
you can below there's a comment section.
Uh-huh.
So below next to that,
Yeah.
yeah, so next to that there's a video symbol. So you can add people through that if
No,
you want.
in this one I can't. I did it earlier, but
Okay.
somehow, yeah, I was inviting you live and I wasn't, you weren't being able to join. There were about 10, 15 people. Yeah, okay, they're joining us slowly, I think.
Yeah, they are joining us. They are joining us. So
Okay.
since
But
we started on time, people
yeah.
are gonna take time to come now, I
No, no,
guess.
sure. Is there any way I can invite people here? Because I can't, next to the comment, I only have a send comment. People join here. Yeah, okay. People are joining us slowly, slowly. Yeah.
Yeah, they are
Okay.
joining us.
All
Yeah.
right.
So, firstly, Ishmeet, congratulations on being featured by the Better India, which is a very big platform,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
you're doing a very noble cause for the Pooch Mates. So, could you tell us about how did you begin with your journey, and what inspired you to come up with the concept of being a dog chef and Harley's Corner?
So it actually all started when I adopted Harley, my indie dog. And actually, he adopted me. I didn't adopt him. And so there was a construction site near the office, and a friend of mine who was working there told us that there's about 12 or 13 pups who had been out of two litters who were there. And at that time, I wanted to adopt a pup and all. So I went over there. And Harley was the biggest fellow, and he kept, chewing on my shoelaces, pulling at my trousers. And, I selected another pup actually. And when I went back a few days later, actually a week or so later, to actually take them home because I had to wait for them to be old enough, the characteristics had changed. So I couldn't recognize the pup that I had chosen first. And Harley kept as always, kept coming to me and running after me and all those kind of things. So I said, since he seems to be more excited seeing me all the time, so I picked him up and brought him home. So that's how Harley came home, and obviously he was named after my love for bikes. And as a first-time pet parent, I kind of gave him normal pellets and everything, and whatever the vets and the pet shop guy said. But then I realized that being a chef, and I would never be interested in eating dry food, and I wanted to eat like my dal and my chapati and fresh khana, right? So I said, I'm sure they also want to eat fresh food. So I kind of, started researching about what you can feed pets from home, and I started cooking for him. And slowly the idea, which was, just to get Harley onto a healthy diet, it spilled out to about 20 pet parents in my society. And, I used to give them small tasting bowls. And they came back saying, hey, listen, we want more because the dog loves it, but can you charge us? So when somebody says, can you charge us? It's the ideal setting for a business, right? So that's how I started off Harley's Corner. So the inspiration for Harley's Corner is Harley. He is my CTO. He is the chief tasting officer of Harley's Corner. If he doesn't like a recipe, it doesn't go into production.
So you left your job, which you were working at the five-star hotels as well. So,
So
like,
I used to work with hotels. At the time I got Harley, I was with Kingfisher Airlines. I was heading the catering division, and so when they say that when life has a plan, everything automatically rolls out. As I started cooking for Harley, Kingfisher Airlines went into the doldrums, right? You know that, and
right.
it just kind of seemed the right time. That I had time, I had a latest interest. I love cooking food. I'm a certified chef out of IHM Mumbai. So I said, let's, start this into a business. So then I started with the cakes. I started with cupcakes, ice creams, and the range just
Lovely.
kept growing. The range kept growing. Yeah.
So the customized cakes you make for the dogs, what usually are the ingredients that you use for them? As we know that chocolate is somewhat poisonous for the dogs.
Yeah.
So what kind of ingredients you use?
So basically, there are about 5 or 6 key ingredients which are not good for dogs, which is sugar, chocolate, any alcohol, of course, oil, fat, butter. All these things are not good for dogs, right? Onions.
Right.
But so what we do is that again, understanding how to cook, and cooking in my earlier years, I kind of realized, and I did experiments, and we basically make a sugarless, fatless, sponge, right? So there's no sugar, there's no fat, there's no oil, there's no cream. So it's just through the knowledge of knowing what food. Sorry. So just to be able to figure out how to kind of make food and what to do together is where we've come up with the cakes. So no salt, no sugar, no cream, no butter, no fat. So perfectly healthy for dogs.
I didn't know this was not allowed, like no
Yeah.
cream, no,
Okay.
what do
So
you, ingredients,
yeah,
as you said.
yeah,
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 I mean,
nothing, nothing.
yeah, so I didn't know this. This is something new. Okay, so there are very less dog chefs in the city or in the country. Many youths are, animal lovers, and there's no such career offered to them. But now it has come into play. So, what would you like to say about this career that the youths can take up today?
So,
Is it a booming career in the coming years?
So I think that right now it's a career which needs you to follow your passion. Don't expect to get rewarded for it. Don't expect that you'll open up your own restaurant, and like how all the Ranveer Bras of the world and the Vikas Khannas of the world, that you'll be one of them. It will take a lot of time. It's following your passion, basically, to cook for the dog. Um, it all started with me, and the reason I became a dog chef is because I wanted Harley and then Pixie to kind of eat the best food. So everything comes out of a specific need that you require, and the need of the hour at that time was to give my dogs healthy food, which was not available in the market. So people who want to be dog chefs, the journey is a long one. People still have to understand the importance of a dog. For me, my dogs are not my dogs; they're my children. So when you need to have a pet parent who has that kind of emotion attached to their pets, then only they are going to be your clients. It's not so. There are thousands, like lakhs of pet parents across the country, but there are a handful who will want to give their dogs what I'm giving because they are interested in ensuring that their dog lives longer, lives healthier that way. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, the cakes, what you make, like I saw the pictures that day, the paneer paw cake and the donuts and all those stuff. So, do you make it according to the breed of the dog, or is it universal to all?
So that's the biggest misconception that a lot of pet food companies are putting out, that you need to feed your dog based on the breed. So I mean, it's not that, right? Like us humans, I could be an Indian, I could be from Scandinavia, I could be from America, right? Based on your body type and your weight and the kind of structure that you have, you basically have to mix your carbs, proteins, vitamins, fiber, etc. Right? So it's the same thing
Right.
with dogs. So there's nothing which is breed specific. If you look at these pet food brands, which kind of tell you that this is particularly for, say, a Chihuahua adult and this is for a Saint Bernard puppy, take the packets and turn them around and read the ingredients. They're all the same. So that's a big misconception. Dogs have to be fed as per their weight, and then of course there is a balanced diet. How we all go through our balanced diets. There's a balanced diet for the dog, which ensures that you need to have the right amount of protein, carb, fiber, vitamins, etc. And of course kilocalories. They need a lot of energy
Oh,
to expend.
okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I would like to know one more thing, like how much is it important to give your dog fresh food? Because I see many owners, they store food in the refrigerator and they just heat it on the pan and they just serve it to the dog. So, like just to save time. So, what is your take on this?
So there are two things for it. One is the whole discussion about dry food, which is the commercial pellet food versus fresh food. So there's actually a study, and the study is published on my website as well, which basically says that if you keep your dog on a home style diet, which is fresh food, your dog will actually live about 2.5 to 3 years longer. Now, for a pet parent who think, where an average life expectancy of a dog is 8 to 10 years, if somebody tells me a dog will live 3 extra years just because of the kind of food you feed him or her, I mean, I wouldn't trade that for the world, right? I mean, for me, I know that I would love my dog to live as long as possible and as healthy as possible. So that's the main thing which is there. As long as the food is fresh, if they kind of, so again, because you need to make food specifically for dogs without salt, without onions, without fat, oil, etc., etc. Most people I know also would kind of, and I would also recommend is make a larger batch, which would last 2 days or 3 days, because it doesn't go bad in the fridge. And then you can obviously reheat it. But what you should do is you should not give the dog hot food. You need to basically bring it to room temperature. So
Oh.
because they don't really take temperature very well. So just bring the food out to room temperature and feed it to your dogs. No problem.
All right. So, as we hit the pandemic, we all have been through tough times and challenges. But the most affected, most of them didn't have sources of food or water outside, if you talk about the stray dogs. And some are living on streets or some are abandoned because of the lockdown. So the ones at home have been providing their pets the lush life, but what about the stray dogs outside? And even when things come, which came under normal, people were only running after their lives. They were not caring much about the
Right.
dogs. So, in short, I would like to ask, what are your insights on this? Because there are so many animal husbandry protests still going on, and what are your insights on this?
So the first thing is that having a dog or getting a pet, a dog, a cat, any of them, right, is not an easy decision to make. It's a commitment you've got to make for the next 10 to 15 years at least, right? All the pet parents who abandoned their dogs during the pandemic, trust me, it's gonna come back to them in tenfold, because that's the worst thing you can do, right? Have any parents abandoned their children because of the pandemic? No. So why would you abandon your dog? So
Right.
I feel that people who abandon the dogs, I mean, they'll pay the price. That's the whole cycle of life, right? Karma comes back to them. With regards to the stray dogs, I know that there have been a lot of people who have actually reached out, a lot of associations. A lot of people went out feeding stray dogs, and I think that's the true service to animals that we do. So while I create a brand and while I sell food which is healthy for your dogs, I think the people who actually go out there every day tirelessly in the morning and evening and feed stray dogs are the ones who you need to bow down to. With regards to the fact of knowing how food can be made, stored, and maintained, I'm looking at kind of creating a ready-to-eat, ready-to-feed kit for a stray dog, which should be about, about 10, 15 rupees, which is something you can keep in your car or just carry with you and just pour some water and feed it to your dog in the container itself. So just trying to
Right.
see the best I can do for stray dogs as well. But like you said, through the pandemic, hats off to everybody who went out of their way morning, evening, and took the risk of, getting COVID as well, but feeding stray dogs.
Yeah, but not only stray dogs, even the birds, the animals, the other
Yes, yes,
birds.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
like, I'll take my example. I have a bird feeder in my house, and I have kept it open to all the birds, whoever want to come and eat and drink and just have a ball of their time. So,
correct.
like during pandemic, that was the least what I could do because I couldn't get down. I couldn't meet the dogs. I have so many dogs in my area, but this was the least I could do. So I guess people can at least, just have a cup of water in their balcony and just offer them because
Correct.
you don't, yeah, they are struggling to
So
get their
there's a very famous saying by Mahatma Gandhi that says that the nation will be judged by the way the nation treats their animals. And if you were to
right,
look at it, if you were to look at India that way, I mean, we are far, far, far below on the list. We don't treat people, with dignity and respect. Animals are a far, far cry away from there. So we've got to really, as a society, wake up to realizing how important animals are and kind of, giving them the respect they need.
right, absolutely right. So right now, due to COVID, since we are talking about the pandemic, how many are working with you or under you? Do you held a branch elsewhere, or this is the only branch which
No,
you're
so
working with?
so Harley Spano was based out of Bombay for the longest time. I moved to Bangalore a couple of years ago. I moved Harley and Pixie after the pandemic to Bangalore as well. So now the cakes and all the fresh treats are basically available in Bangalore. I have my trusted, house help who's been with me for 5 years, and he loves the dogs as much as we do, right? So he will do anything for them. So he's there. He loves doing that as well. With regards to the food, because the food is prepared in the utmost with the utmost levels of sanitization and hygiene. So the food is manufactured in a factory. So the food gets manufactured and gets shipped to our warehouses, and then from there we basically dispatch it. So we don't have people on our payroll, but we have people who work on a project basis with us as per the work that's required.
All right. So, I would like to ask a question, nutrition wise. Could you give us some insights on what kind of food should the owners give their dogs during the winter season or
So
during any
so
season?
I'll give you a
And
few.
is there
Yeah.
a special diet?
Yeah.
And in sweet, what is the best we could offer the dogs?
So, okay, so two, three things with that. So basically, with regards to, what you should never feed your dog, right, is salt, your masalas, Indian masalas that we have, which is basically chili,
Right,
chili and all that. Turmeric is great. A pinch of turmeric with food is great because that's a natural antiseptic, right?
right,
But no salt, no sugar. Like I said again, no oil, fat, butter, no onions, especially. The vegetables you can use to feed your dog are cauliflower, beans, all types of beans, um, green peas, carrots, sweet pumpkin, sweet potato, cabbage to an extent. You can feed your dog all those vegetables. With regards to, when people talk about bones, also a lot of people ask me what bones can you feed your dog. So So the best thing to give them is either mutton or buffalo bones, right? So what you can do is take the bone and kind of pressure cook it with some herbs and then wash it out, right? And so keep the stock, that bone broth to feed your dog, especially during the winters. If you have an aging dog or you have a dog with arthritis problems as well, the bone broth is great for them. And keep the bone which they can keep gnawing on and kind of, eating. Don't give your dog chicken bones because chicken bones are hollow and they
yeah.
tend to splinter. So if they splinter, there's a risk that it might cut up the dog's digestive tract. So don't give chicken bones, and of course, fish bones is a total no-no. But fish is a great protein for dogs as well. Harley loves fish, and every time fish is being cooked, he's in the kitchen crying away to get his piece. So
But
that,
there, I've heard this myth so many times that usually fish is given to the cats and chicken or mutton is given to the dogs. Like I've seen so
see,
many people
see
not
again,
giving fish.
it's a protein, right? It's a protein. So fish meat contains natural omega 3 and omega 9 oils, which is great for their coat and for their skin. So it's great to do that. In fact, we've just launched a new meal which has tuna fish as its base. That's the protein, you know, because a lot of people really are. I mean, the fish is really being accepted by dogs and they love it. Yeah.
So, what specific quality or safety measures do you take while you're cooking food, especially during COVID times?
So again, like I said, the food gets manufactured in a factory. The factory is HACCP certified, and it basically also makes food for which is exported to the US. So it's an FDA
Right.
approved factory as well. We ensure that all our so the fact that it makes human food means guaranteed I cannot use any portion of any element of animal feed. So the key element of our dog food is that I will not sell you anything that I would not feed Harley, and I would definitely not feed Harley animal grade meat. So a lot of people ask me that what is animal grade meat, right? So if you look at a chicken, you remove the chicken breast, the legs, the wings, correct? That's mainly what you would eat. The neck and the other parts of the breastbone and all that go into making soup. But the skin, the head, the feet, all the insides which are there, all that is considered as animal grade. So if you look at any dog food commercially available in the market, it will always say animal feed, not for human consumption. I proudly say my food can be consumed by a human as well. All right, because what happens is that the food is human grade. So it's made the human grade factory. And in fact, I tell pet parents, I said, just take a packet or open it up, take a spoon and taste it yourself if you want to see how good the food is.
Right. So, coming to the last question of the session, are you planning to expand your business across the globe, or could you share if there's something new coming into the pipeline?
So, with regards to the meals, there are, like I said, there are two more meals we've just launched. So, from two, we've gone to four meals. We're looking at launching pour over sauces, chicken and liver sauce that you can pour over home style food that you make as well to increase the palatability and the protein levels.
Right.
We are also looking at making India's first do it yourself dog cake kit. So, you can actually make your own cake for your dogs at home, right? With a chicken liver stuffing and a chicken mousse icing. So we're looking at putting all that together. With regards to going global, I mean, which company doesn't want to go global? But there are challenges with regards to getting the food manufactured, shipped, and all that, which is what we are working with. But again, nothing can happen at least for the next 6 to 12 months because of the pandemic. Everything's been put on hold, so everything has to go slow now.
Great. So, anybody who has a question could pose a question below and ask Ishmeet regarding the dog nutrition and also about his career, about his profession. You all can all ask freely. So, I'll just wait for, I guess, we'll wait for a few minutes till
Sure,
people
sure,
uh, are able to,
sure.
give out
Sure,
their questions. So,
definitely.
guys, all can give out your questions and you all can ask whatever is coming to your mind about dogs. If you're a dog lover, then all the more great. You all can ask whatever comes to your mind. You all can ask Ishmeet the works because he's the best.
Thank you, Jeel.
Hi, Vikas. Okay.
Hi, Dicky. So the whole bunch of my friends who joined as well. Hi,
Yeah,
Niharika,
I'm just saying hello to who
Jayati.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Guys, if you all have questions, please ask. Please, okay, how many times to feed the dog and what portion? Okay, Ishmeet.
So Dicky, basically, so again, like I said, contrary to basic misconceptions, you feed your dog basis on the weight. So if you're talking about fresh food. So if your dog is about say 28 to 30 kilos, which is an average Labrador Golden Retriever today, right? You need to feed your dog 300 grams per meal and feed them twice a day. So the best part is to keep your meals balanced at about say 11 to 12 hours apart. So if you feed your dog in the morning at about 7:38, you feed your dog dinner at about 7:38 p.m. as well, and about 300 grams. So generally, what you need to look at is about when you're talking about fresh food, talk about 10 grams per kilo. So if your dog's about, say you have a lab, if you have a Doberman or you have a Rottweiler, and your dog's
Okay.
about 45 kilos in weight, you need to feed them about 450 grams of meat of food twice a day. What I recommend for pups, which are anywhere up to the age of 1 year, because they're so excitable and they're so active and they're constantly running around. So for instance, if your pup is about say 20 22 kilos, you need to feed them about 200 to 225 grams a meal. That's 450 grams in the day. Break it up into 3 meals. So give them smaller meals but more often, so that they get the energy. The energy is built up inside, they burn it out by playing, running around, and they get tired, eat again, and again they follow that cycle.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that you have to give according to their weight. Okay,
According to the
so hello Renuka ma'am. Okay, Durgesh, if you have a question, please ask. Okay, you have a dog, right, Durgesh? You can also ask.
You're welcome,
Most,
Diki.
yeah.
Hi, Neha. Long time.
Guys, you all have any questions, please feel free and ask Ishmeet about the dog nutrition and about the dog chef as a career. So, okay, she's saying hi to you, okay?
Yeah. Thanks, Neha. Thank you so much. It's about time you adopted a dog as well. Do pets get COVID? No, Neha, they do not get COVID. That's the biggest misconception that people went around saying that dogs spread COVID and cats spread COVID and all that kind of stuff. There is no, in this entire 9 months that COVID's been around, there have been a lot of speculation that pets get COVID, and it's not true. So pets have been tested, and I really feel sorry for the pets who've been abandoned, because people thought that pets spread COVID as well, and then we've heard a lot of them is there, but they don't spread COVID. Definitely not. Right? It's time,
Okay,
Neha. Christmas has come. It's time for New Year. Right? You let me talk to them, and I'll convince them to ensure that you get them one. Dicky, is
we
home
have,
food better? Is home food better or one's available in the market?
yeah,
Home food is always better, Dicky. It's like we know as well, right? We'll order out, we'll have packaged food, but eventually when you want to ensure you want to have the freshest nutritional food, you always switch to home food. And I'm not talking about, like, for instance, as humans now, we order out from restaurants. That also is fresh because it's prepared then and there. But I'm talking about food that you make fresh at home versus what you would buy in a packet. So obviously, food always that's made fresh is always better for your pets. And like I said, there's that study which was conducted by the European Union, a whole panel of European Union vets, and they say that if you keep your dog on a home style diet, right, which is carbohydrates, you either use chicken, you use rice, or you different types of rice, you use proteins, chicken, meat, etc. at home, your dog will live on an average 3 years longer than dogs on a commercial pellet food diet. That's priceless, I think, for any pet parent.
any more questions, guys? So where's Pixie? Where's Harley? Are they with you right now?
Harley is sleeping. Let me see if I can get Pixie along here. Pixie, I'm just sitting outside, and I'll just check. Give me a moment. Pixie.
So how old are they?
So
Both
Harley,
of them.
Harley is 11. He turned 11 in October. Pixie is
Wow.
8. Pixie is 8. Yes. So they're both little older ones. Harley is refusing to get off the sofa. Pixie is light enough and can be picked up. So here she is.
Look
Hi,
who's
Pixie.
here. Hi,
Hi.
Pixie. Oh,
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Look there, look there. Pixie, look there. Say hi there.
Pixie, you're live. You're live on Instagram.
Okay,
We
okay.
are take a picture. Hold on, I'll take a picture.
She's not going to let me look at the camera. Piku.
Pixie.
Who's there? Who's there? There she is. Yeah, so that's Pixie. She's
All
8
right, I'll
years
take
old.
it.
She's
Sure.
the chief cuteness officer. She's too cute, right?
And
Hardy's the
she's still
system officer.
of age. I mean, when you said 8, I was like, does she look 8? I mean,
No, she
touch wood. She's
doesn't. She's
very
my
well
size.
made.
She's my size zero model. She's maintained herself with a good food she eats, right, Pixie?
How sweet. How
I
sweet.
can't pick up Hardy. He's 35 kilos, so he's heavy. But Pixie's a little one, so it's easier to pick her up.
Oh, how
Okay.
sweet. Okay, thank you, Pixie. All right, Ishmeet, this was fun talking to you. It was really interactive and interesting to know
Thank you
about
so much.
the
Thank you so
exciting
much.
things I also didn't know. So thank you for joining me on this platform
Thank you
and
for inviting
hoping
me.
to
It's such a
see more
pleasure.
such sessions in the future.
Done, definitely.
And
And
keep
thank
up the
you
good work.
everyone for joining in. Thanks, Dicky, Neha,
Thank you,
Sid,
everyone.
the whole bunch, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, Ishmeet. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy New Year, everybody. And Neha, get your pizza dog. All right.
All
Bye.
right, bye.
Bye.